Hello everyone and welcome. Today I bring you a story that goes beyond television. It's a cultural statement, a tribute to Italian heritage, and a bold step toward global storytelling. We're talking about Sandokan, the return of a legendary hero now brought to life by the Turkish actor Yaman. This is no ordinary project. It's a major production aiming to revive the rebellious, brave and free spirit of the character created by Emilio Salgari. Sandokan isn't just a pirate. He's a symbol of resistance, a figure that has represented the fight against oppression for more than a century. Sandokan isn't just a pirate. He's a symbol of resistance, a figure that has represented the fight against oppression for more than a century. Yaman understands that. During the Rimini Film Festival, he described this role as a cultural mission. He doesn't want to imitate Kabir Bedi, the Sandokan of the 1970s. He wants to reinvent him, make him modern, strong and relatable to new generations. To achieve that, the series is betting on international locations, breathtaking visual effects, and an eco-conscious approach that takes care of every production detail. The cast is full of big names. Alessandro Preziosi plays Yanis and Alana Blur, another lead, says this series could forever change the landscape of Italian television. Alessandro Preziosi plays Yanis and Alana Blur, another lead, says this series could forever change the landscape of Italian television. The entire team has worked with passion to balance respect for the original material with a fresh and global vision. And there's more. A second season is already confirmed, promising to explore more deeply the character's origins and his rebellion against the British Empire. This is more than entertainment, it's identity, memory, and also a cry for freedom. Why does this matter? Because Sandokan isn't just fiction. It's part of Italy's cultural DNA. And now, thanks to this new version, it can once again inspire the world. Yaman, with his charisma and dedication, doesn't just play a character, he embodies a cause. And that, combined with a high-level production, could turn this series into a global phenomenon. So if you haven't already, get ready to set sail. Sandokan is back, stronger than ever. And this time, he wants to conquer not just the seas, but also our hearts. Sometimes I pause to observe the path of Demet Ozdemir, and I can't help but feel a mix of admiration and sadness. She's one of those women who seem made of light, energy, and a silent strength that doesn't need to shout to be seen. And yet, despite everything she's achieved, the world keeps looking at her through the lens of a past relationship, as if her worth were forever tied to that love she once had with Yaman. Don't get me wrong, I don't deny that the chemistry between them was something extraordinary. We all felt it. No words were needed to sense that something special existed between them, something that transcended the screen. But life showed us that chemistry isn't always enough. Loving someone is not the same as being able to stay together. And that's exactly where Demet's real story begins. While many kept waiting for a reconciliation, she was making choices. She decided to marry another man, a step that many didn't understand, but which reveals a woman in search of stability, affection, perhaps a life far from media chaos. And when that marriage ended, as so many do, the judgment was merciless. She was accused of not truly loving, of making mistakes, of not valuing Can. But no one seemed to stop and ask what she needed, what she felt. Demet isn't a perfect woman, and that's precisely what makes her so real. She's made mistakes, taken chances, fallen, and gotten back up. But she's done it all with dignity. While some accuse her of being cold or indifferent, I see a woman who has learned to put herself first, who realized that you can't build your life around other people's expectations, and that sometimes disappointing the world is better than betraying yourself. Many ask why Ken didn't fight for her. Others say he simply let her go. But I prefer to ask why everyone expected her to be the one left waiting. Can't a woman decide to move on? Doesn't she have the right to seek something different, even if it means breaking the hearts of millions of fans? Some say her marriage was a mistake, a rushed decision. Maybe, but it was also an act of freedom. Because loving someone who isn't the public's favorite takes courage. Demet did it. And when it didn't work out, she had the strength to end it. That doesn't make her weak. It makes her human. Today we see her more reserved, less active on social media, more focused on her career and personal growth. Some interpret that as distance. I see it as maturity. Some interpret that as distance. I see it as maturity. She no longer needs to prove anything. She's no longer seeking approval. Because she's understood something essential. Self-love isn't negotiable, and you don't sacrifice it for easy applause. Demet Ozdemir is much more than a failed love story. She's a talented actress, a woman who has survived media pressure, constant comparisons, and malicious rumors. And even so, she's still standing. And even so, she's still standing, smiling. And even so, she's still standing, smiling, growing, taking control of her own story. Taking control of her own story. Will she ever get back with Can? No one knows. Maybe yes, maybe no. But one thing's certain, she no longer needs him to shine. But one thing's certain, she no longer needs him to shine. Because her light, the one that comes from within, has learned to shine on its own. And if there's one thing that's clear to me, it's this. Demet has had to learn to defend herself alone. No one saved her from malicious headlines, from constant comparisons, or from the misogyny disguised as opinion. She's walked her path in silence, even when some wanted to see her fall. And no, she didn't fall. On the contrary, she's stronger than ever. Because she understood that true success doesn't lie in trending topics, but in being able to look in the mirror without regretting who you are. People may have mixed opinions, but for me, it's clear. Demet represents that quiet strength that doesn't need to scream to be heard. People may have mixed opinions, but for me, it's clear. Demet represents that quiet strength that doesn't need to scream to be heard. She built her name, her career, and her dignity without asking for permission. And while others cling to past scandals to stay relevant, she just keeps walking forward. Because she knows that true respect is earned through actions, not noise.